You know, I'm really interested in finding some sort of a cartoon that's going to awaken something in me. Specifically one that helps me with my eating ass. I can't even say it. I can't even say it.
You don't want to associate with that character. I'm just going to say, so every character has two unique traits. And that one is, that character is eating ass and being stereotypically German in some specific ways.
Oh. Welcome to Rough Cuts, everyone.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Hey, they're the dog people, aren't they?
They're coming today to Kids WB. Rovers. Hunter is a hero hound, leader of the pack. Rovers. Army comes from London town. Watch her be attacked. Rovers. Exile's got super cooling sight.
Rovers.
Blitz is hungry for action and food. Whenever there's danger, the Rovers unleash their powers.
Let's roll!
Now it's time to hit the road. Rovers.
How's it going, everybody? This is Rough Cuts. We're a podcast where we watch generally movies, but also shows and media, including video games sometimes.
Mostly when Borks just decides that we're going to because reasons.
And then we, generally it's bad, and then we rate the dog, or dogs, at the end. I'm Boix, that's Ilion.
Hi.
Co-host. And for some reason, we've been doing this bit for 6 years, and we can't stop. Someone please help, please.
I was actually going to ask you about that. I'm like, we started this in 2019, right? This is 6 years.
You can't stop the bit. It's been going too long.
The bit is off the fucking rails. It's been just runaway training forever. Speaking of runaway trains, that's the first episode of Road Rovers, a ripoff of Street Sharks, which was a ripoff of Biker Mice from Mars.
Which was a ripoff of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes. This is a recursive, loop. Kind of like it's circling, some kind of drain or a toilet being flushed.
Well, you'd have to lap up the toilet to understand it. And I mean, not everybody's going to understand the genius of Road Rovers. It's very intelligent, Me, a poster on the internet. Anyways, it's your stereotypical. Let's get 5 or 6 characters together to do
stereotypical.
Well, I mean, in the 90s it was.
It is in a way. It's just that it breaks that mold in some concerning ways.
So there's a ton of shows like this. Mad Max.
Yeah.
Or not Mad Max. What was it? Was it Mad Max? I know it's a movie, but there was like a Max cartoon about a kid that had superpowers with an owl.
Oh, the Max, where he's in the...
No, the Max is something different. I actually know what the Max is now.
Well, I know that you know what the Max is, because I watched you watching it recently.
The Max, ruler of the jungle, scourge of the city. Journey to worlds undreamt of. With the Max, you've never seen a hero with feet this big.
But there's stuff like that. There's even stuff like Monster Rancher, the cartoon, is like this.
Sure. Yeah. It's a group of characters all with different powers or whatever that come together to it's almost G.I. Joe-esque.
Mighty Max.
In this.
I just remembered
Mighty
the name.
Max.
It was Mighty Max.
Sure.
It's like the obscure shit that they're just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping something gets a toy line.
It's the Hanna-Barbera strategy.
Yeah, although in this case it was WB.
Sure,
but Warner Brothers. So this originally aired in 96 on Kids WB. It was canceled after 1 season in 97, and then re-aired the 1 season on Cartoon Network in 98, and then it was canceled after 1 season of re-airing on Cartoon Network. So you had to have watched this in a very short time span of 1 year, roughly, but on 2 different networks.
Yeah.
And I do remember commercials for this, and I do remember seeing at least one episode and thinking, that's fucking weird.
See, and I don't. I never saw this. This is a wholly new thing to me.
Because this aired, like, around the time of, I want to say, the Men in Black cartoon and the Godzilla cartoon during Godzilla 98 and that type of stuff on Cartoon Network. So there's just all this stuff of, like, it's a certain era of cartoon. The Freakazoid stuff.
Yes. This is also, though, it's funny because you can really tell that this has, like, one foot in an old world and another foot in, like, the new cartoon world, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because it's very stuck in, like, stuff that's more, like you said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, it's an early 90s cartoon that has some idea that, like, wait, are we moving past this stuff? And it's kind of trying to, like, wait, maybe should we do something different? But it can't move past that. And so it's this really weird, like, throwback, because it's late for what it is. Like, 96 is too late for mutant animal cartoon thing.
Stuff. It almost feels like they should be making Gulf War jokes, which they get very close.
They do! They fucking do, though.
Yeah, but they don't have, like, President H.W. Bush show up. Like...
No.
Like the Super Mario Brothers cartoon. By the way, the Super Mario Brothers cartoon. The Super Mario Brothers
stick
3.
The president at the bottom of the ocean.
That has King Koopa abducting President H.W. Bush, dumping him and the White House into the ocean to drown, and then
our biggest hero.
And then Barbara shows up. She's like, "No, he can't swim." And we're supposed to feel bad for the situation. King Koopa's a hero.
Yeah, like, parades everywhere.
I'll put America's ruler where he'll never be rescued. At the bottom of the Mushroom Sea.
Help! The president can't swim!
But there was also that era of, like, we need to make it culturally and politically relevant for some reason for the kids. And this is past that point.
Yeah, I think part of this is that you can really tell that it's a Warner Brothers cartoon.
Yes.
And, like, it has Dot Warner as Tris McNeil as one of the main voice actors. It has Wacko Warner as another one. Like, it's got Frank Welker. It's got all this really, really high-end voice talent. And it has, like, the good moments in this, because there are good moments, are the times that they lean into a little bit of Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Like, there is some very Animaniacs-ass jokes every once in a while in this. Not often, not nearly often enough to make this thing work. Like, it's extremely rare, but every once in a while you're like, okay, yeah, you can see.
When it's not being a Warner Brothers clever cartoon, it's being Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Combat time!
Or Darkstalkers, the cartoon. It's being that type of thing, where it's just... And I realize this is obscure, but I've been watching these recently.
You've seen the blank look on my face.
No, but I've been watching these recently, and I can tell that this is that type of cartoon.
Sure.
It's just like, they need to do action. Let's G.I. Joe this shit for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it feels really G.I. Joe to me.
Holy cow! A little Bigfoot! Hi! Yobo's not an animal. He's a hobbit.
To be fair, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm and Darkstalkers are just G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe stuff.
So it's just that thing again. But it's also funny that I'm mentioning Mortal Kombat, because we have Raiden from Mortal Kombat show up, who is also McCloud from Highlander.
Yeah, he's weird. He's got to be the scientist they blow up in the beginning, right?
It has to be, but it's not explicit in the first 3 episodes, I guess.
No, he's got like these big laser glowing eyes, which is the Raiden thing, and like long flowing locks, but he's also Science Man, and he's the one that just decides, you know what this world needs? Anthropomorphic dogs.
Anthropomorphic sexy muscle dogs. This show better not awaken.
The sexy part is all you, boy, because I'm just saying.
This better not awaken anything in me. There are
think
multiple
it did.
scenes of showering muscle-clad dogs naked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's later on in episode 3
For no
there's
reason.
werewolves that show up
Yeah.
because werewolf that's a real out of left field even for this cartoon episode. But it pins one of the werewolves pins down the girl dog and starts
Colleen, yeah.
ripping her clothes off while drooling over her, and I'm like, okay, listen, you guys know what you were doing, right? Like, this is, come on.
I mean,
come
there's
on.
a character whose superpower is he eats ass.
Finally, it is time for the biting of soft, mushy parts.
Don't be a weird boy.
And has racial superiority.
And that problem. And he's the
He
German.
literally tries to take over the group because he's like, well, you're a mutt and I'm a purebred. And I'm like, this is not what you want the German character to be doing. This is not what you want the German
You
character
say
to be doing.
mutt, but he says you're a mixed breed.
He says mutt. He says mutt.
Yeah, but he also says mixed breed.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But, I mean, both of them. Either one is real bad. Doesn't
It's
matter.
bad. It's
Like, the
bad.
whole thing is it's just the whole setup. Start to finish sucks.
So, I'm in the writing room. We need to come up with a new cartoon.
Yeah.
Right? So, the general idea is we're going to get a superpowered team of 6 dogs, and we're going to get McCloud from Highlander to become God.
Yes.
And choose them like
now
Zordon
the
chooses a
one.
Power Ranger.
It's really weird, too, because one of the dogs gets chosen before there's the big I choose you thing.
I think they started writing, and then they're
Yeah.
like, wait, no, this is better. And then they kept writing, but they didn't go back and edit.
Because there's a dog named Fluffy in the opening scene that, like, runs out into the field,
Mhm.
seeing, like, this light, and then comes back transformed as this big, like, raging anthropomorphic dog. And then right afterwards, it just goes around the world and picks up dogs with, like, an alien light that's like, I choose you to be a force of good. And I'm like, okay, so Fluffy was chosen? And it's like, yeah, Fluffy was chosen to be a force of evil.
Evil dog,
Wait, what?
yeah.
What? Like, it was all in the same scene, though, so it just really threw me for a minute, because I thought that was one of the,
Yeah.
you know,
Alpha
good
5,
dogs.
I need 6 dogs with attitude.
Oh, God, yes.
There's your comedy.
Anyway, so the dogs are also chosen from different countries of the world. For some reason,
Yeah.
Highlander McCloud decides he needs a dog from every country. So we have an American dog named Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
We have a British dog named Colleen.
Yep.
We have a Russian dog named Exile.
Named Exile?
I don't know what's
Okay.
up with that naming. We have a German dog named Blitz. A Swiss dog named Shag, who's a shaggy dog.
Mm-hmm.
And also Shaggy. That dog is just Shaggy, because it also is eating stuff from the fridge all the time, like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's a weird mix. They basically made Shaggy and Scooby the same character.
Because he
in this.
talks like Scooby. Yeah, I noticed
Yes.
that too.
Yeah. 'Cause he doesn't talk. That's Frank Welker, of course, who
Yeah.
just, you know, like the traditional Frank Welker thing.
And then there's the 6th dog, which is Muzzle.
Yes. Jesus Christ, we've got to talk about Muzzle.
So-
We've got
so-
a Muzzle problem.
When God is picking the dogs to be the Christian soldiers of the Road Rovers,
Mm-hmm.
which I can only assume is what is happening.
It really has a heavy, like, this is God choosing Crusaders vibe. It's real weird.
It's real weird.
Colleen, you have been chosen.
But he goes to a animal humane society in LA, which is, as we all know, in post-nuclear wasteland LA / real prison.
Oh yeah, it's like cracked walls, like cracked leaking walls. They're like laying down in dirty straw. Like it's It's that. It looks like a fucking medieval torture chamber.
Yep. And so the jail torturers are walking up to Hunter, which is like a golden lab?
Golden retriever.
Golden
he says
retriever.
he's 50% golden retriever. It's the one that the German describes.
Oh, because they have to be really weird about him being half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so him and Muzzle. Muzzle is a Doberman, I believe. Or not a Doberman. Maybe a pit bull? Maybe a pit bull?
Maybe a pit bull, because he doesn't look the same as Blitz. Blitz is a
Doberman. That's true. So
and he doesn't quite look the same. So I'm guessing pit bull, but they don't. He's just dog.
He's a pit bull, except
he's already a human is the thing, because they've decided that Muzzle needs to be in a literal straitjacket and chair like fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yes. And what they're doing is, those dogs have been there for 6 months, and as we all know, the Humane Society / prison has to kill those dogs.
Oh yeah, you just got to.
Because they've been there for too long. So they start wheeling them towards their gas chamber.
Yep.
Like,
it literally says lethal gas chamber.
Why is it?
Bro, I don't know. I don't know, man.
And then God is like, I have chosen you, Hunter. You're going to be one of my super cool road rovers. I need you to leave that other dog that's in the straitjacket to get gassed to death.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it's so wild, because also that part really threw me, but also another line that kills me in there that I'm remembering is the two guards. Hunter snaps his leash and starts running away, and she goes, "Should we go after him?" And the other girl goes, "Yeah, let's kill this one first, though."
No, we really need to kill this dog.
And it's like, wait, what? They're just so excited. They're, best day on the job.
They love it. They love it.
Should I go after him?
Yeah, but let's get rid of this guy first.
Hunter, you have been chosen. Leave, Hunter. Save yourself while you still can.
Hunter saves Muzzle and takes him with him to wherever their desert lair is. It's just Power Rangers. It's just Power Rangers.
They have some Chamber of Solitude, whatever, Fortress of Solitude.
And then McCloud throws them into the dog transdogmifier, which turns them into anthropomorphic, muscle-clad furries.
Furries with, like, battle armor.
They
get battle armor automatically, too, when they go in there. Except for Shag.
Shag.
Just stays a shaggy dog.
And then they all get superpowers. So Hunter's superpower is that he's fast and he's American.
I was going to ask, I'm like, okay, let's name the traits of these dogs, because oh boy. Okay, so Hunter is, American and fast. We'll go back and forth. How's that?
Sure.
Exile is Russian, and he has eyes. And that sounds like a shitpost, but his eyes just do everything.
What weirds me out is, so when they mention the powers, McCloud is like, Exile, your power is that you're really strong and you can lift things. And then immediately his only power is that he has cool Superman eyes.
That do everything? Like, they're not even Superman eyes, because it's like, Superman does lasers and X-ray vision, right? Is what I think. And then he has, like, freeze breath.
He has freeze breath, but not freeze eyes, yeah.
But he has laser eyes, X-ray eyes,
eagle eyes,
freezing eyes, like zoom in eyes. He has eyes that do anything you can imagine.
But his superpower is supposed to be that he's strong.
I think that he's also that, is the thing. They just kind of gave Exile all of the powers, because let's keep going.
Anyway, let's go to Colleen, the British dog. she has the superpower of being smarter than the other dogs, and also she's Chun-Li.
And also she kicks well.
Yeah, that's it.
That's her power.
That's it.
So we've got like the dude that can do ice, heat, X-ray vision, super strong, and then you kick well. And then we've got the Blitz dog is next.
Yep.
And he's German, racist, and
a pervert.
Bites ass?
Yeah. Well, his power is that he has jaws, supposedly.
Yeah, his power is that he bites.
He bites,
but
supposedly.
specifically, he bites ass.
He eats ass.
Like, that's not a joke. We're not joking. That's just a thing
That's
that
just what
they
he
literally
likes.
say.
It's just what he likes.
in the opening song, goddammit.
So that's supposed to be a superpower, but then later on he's just Wolverine.
Yeah, sometimes he gets Wolverine claws.
I don't know why. It's like they just don't have written down what the characters do, and the writers change it every episode.
But also, he doesn't tend to do anything. Like, Exile is the one... This is the Justice League problem, right?
Yes.
Like, Exile's Superman, so he just does all of it, and everybody else just goes, man, I can't wait until Exile shows up.
So it's Superman, it's the Flash,
Yes.
it's Wolverine, Colleen is, I guess, Guile
I don't...
from the Street Fighter cartoon.
She does not throw out any air...
No flash kicks or...
Yeah.
Or,
Well, no, she does the
Sonic
flash
booms.
kicks.
Sonic
She doesn't do
boom.
the sonic booms.
And then, of course, there's Shag, whose superpower is holding bazookas backwards.
He has no superpower. He's Switzerland.
He's just-
so he just doesn't
he's
do
just
anything. He's
dog.
neutral.
Oh, and of course, Muzzle, whose superpower is,
Concerning.
can be unleashed at any moment. All you have to do is remove the straps and unleash the beast.
They literally have him as they've rescued him, and yet the joke, I guess, is that they just keep him strapped to the board. So they have him like constantly just wheeling around on a board after the rest of the group.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get any superpowers because they don't put him in the Transdogmifier thing.
Well, I mean,
he's just always been like this.
This is a pup star situation where only certain dogs are allowed sentience, right? And they can't give Muzzle the sentience because he would just he would turn into Jack the Ripper, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can't do that.
You're not wrong. Is this the time to talk about so like there's some wild, just like with Pupstar, there's some wild geopolitical implications of this.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, should this be the moment that we just take a quick aside for how we both felt like we had a ticking time bomb and like had sweat dripping down our foreheads? As we met
the dog later on in episode.
the dog
3.
later on.
Yeah. So in episode 3, we're talking about werewolves. They go to a super smart dog because they're trying to introduce more characters for the toy line.
Mm-hmm.
And they introduce Confucius Dog. And
Yeah.
you and I are both like, oh no.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. We're just like, you can see just like little drops of sweat start going down. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this dog when they do this voice.
And this is because the Russian dog has a Russian accent. The British dog keeps saying blimey all the time.
Yeah.
The German dog is Austrian, which is not
he's
German.
He's extremely Arnold.
It's just
He's
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger.
So we're like, okay, if they're doing Confucius Dog, they're doing the racist Chinese voice dog.
Yup.
But they don't somehow? And it was a welcome surprise. Don't get me wrong.
And then there's a moment where he goes, oh, you need wisdom. Okay, just give me a moment. And both of us go, oh, Jesus Christ, like, it's gonna go. Like, the timer hits 0 on the bomb. And we both, like, cover our eyes. And then he keeps talking in his normal voice. And we went, holy shit, oh, thank God. Oh my God, it just didn't go off.
They're playing with fire.
They were really fucking with us on that
with
one.
Fire.
Werewolves curse! Werewolves curse! Right, got it!
Oh, wait, here we go.
no.
Me.
No.
The victim's problem will have ceased
Okay.
when you find the truth.
Oh, we were both.
I was stealing myself.
Oh. I was like wiping sweat away after that.
Back to England.
I don't want to talk about this.
But, okay, so in the first episode, they introduce all the
Yeah.
dogs and their superpowers. They also introduce a villain, which doesn't show up for the next 2 episodes.
No.
So, I don't know why they did this. But they introduce a Shredder, basically.
Yes.
Parvo is his name.
A Shredder, a Cobra Commander.
And his Cobra
whatever.
Commander, who has a very specific name.
Yes.
Groomer. So,
God,
so our villain
forgetting about Groomer.
Our villain is constantly saying, "Groomer, come over here. I need your expertise on Groomer."
I need help grooming, Groomer, please.
Secure, General.
Thank you, Groomer.
Groomer sounds like a Nazi name or something too, like something. I don't like the implications of anything involving that character.
I don't like the implications of basically anything involving this cartoon.
But in that first episode, there's also the Bebop and Rocksteady villains, which don't show up again.
No.
And they steal a Sega CD add-on for the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
And they also steal a train. So it's up to the Road Rovers to get on the train, fight them, and get the Sega CD back. Which they do after some G.I. Joe scenes. But they also give them a Sega CD fake bootleg that they found, which is also a bomb. I guess.
They just randomly come across a second case that looks exactly like the first case, but this one they put a bomb in. Our heroes.
The case is supposed to have like some serum for the magic that turns you into cool anthropomorphic road rovers or whatever, I think.
Yeah, this is where, again, like you said, it's a writer's room where they pitched a couple of ideas and then just dropped it and found another idea. Like, it's like, ooh, shiny object, every couple minutes, because General Parvo, which, oh my god, what a name, who's the bad guy, is also trying to make anthropomorphic dogs, but his formula isn't stable. It doesn't keep them as human dogs. So anyways, at the end of the episode, all of the human dogs that we have from the stable formula turn back to regular dogs, the thing that they're not supposed to do because they've got
because they have the Power Rangers powers. Yeah. What's also confusing about that? So first of all, they're called Kano Sapiens. I want you to respect the lore of the furry anthropomorphic dogs in this series.
The only Kano Sapien I'll acknowledge is in Mortal Kombat, thank you, and he has a cool eye laser and he talks real weird and says, mate.
There's a dog with a cool eye laser that also talks weird in this show. Come on.
That's fair. There's probably that somewhere.
But so there's that. And two, they also need to have a secret identity, which is why our dogs have to turn back into dogs at the end of the episode. Because part of the reward of joining the Road Rovers, which is a deadly, potentially suicidal team, where you will die a horrible death in combat, mortal combat.
This is made explicit, by the way, very explicit.
Is that McCloud will give you a home. And we're like, okay, because these are all street dogs. Street sharks, some might say. And so
they're all street dogs. Their origins are like Colleen was on the streets of London, Hunter was in his prison, Blitz was a guard dog in a home.
Well, it was a junkyard.
Exile was on a sled to... Wait, hold up. Just a second. It sounds more like kidnappings.
Shag was sleeping outside on a hill, I guess.
He was just enjoying
but so he's giving them a home. So specifically the home that he gives them is the White House President of the United States dog. the Prime Minister, or maybe even the Queen of Britain.
Yeah.
The Royal Family dog, I think.
The Royal Family
is supposed
dog,
to be.
I think.
The Russian president dog, like all the world leaders of the countries that these dogs are from now have these dogs.
Enjoy your new homes as the pets of world leaders. Exile in Russia, Colleen in England, Shag in Switzerland, Blitz in Germany, and Hunter in the White House. But always remember that deep inside every dog is a road rover.
Now, is this important to anything that happens from this episode on? No.
No, of course not.
It's completely
But it would be
irrelevant.
cool if they were part of the world leaders. They were presidential pups. That's the opening song. They had that.
This is implicitly so they can just show the dogs next to flags of those countries and be like, please watch our show.
I think, yeah.
It's a marketing thing. But in the first episode, so they introduce all the dogs, all the characters, the villain, they introduce their powers. Second episode starts with a aircraft carrier / destroyer being attacked by torpedoes, gassed, and then sunk, killing everybody on board.
Yes.
But they're fine.
But they're all fine. No casualties.
and that's because the U.S. Navy has a death laser.
Yes.
And a villain has attacked and stolen their decoder that allows access to the death laser that can be used like a video game to conduct war from far away without having to be close to the carnage and the murder.
Yep.
Like some sort of a drone.
No ethical or geopolitical problems in this cartoon.
And we need to get it back because the U.S. military will use that correctly. And
we gotta make sure it goes back to the right hands.
Not
the U.S. military.
Not some, I don't know, paramilitary mercenary force, I guess.
It's just a dude who was dishonorably discharged. This is backstory.
Well, he was discharged because he was shooting at civilians.
Right. Yeah, they literally make him Captain War Crimes. I realized as I said it, I'm like, oh right, no, they did say why, too, didn't they? Why did they do this? Why did they do this?
I don't know.
This is a children's cartoon, right? Like,
sure. Yeah. It was on Kids WB. Okay. It says kids in the title. So the second episode is just to introduce the vehicles they can sell for the marketing toy line.
Oh, yeah.
Because they introduce a car, a Road Rover car. They introduce a Road Rover jet, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then also later on, there's a helicopter. There's a submarine.
They had a sub.
A second helicopter also. There's like different versions of helicopters now. Because they can't decide.
Had a decent submersible that was actually kind of fun, which like you joked at. That,
because it doggy paddles.
It doggy paddles. Like
it's almost a joke.
When they go in for like pure wackiness instead of doing the action type stuff, it's good. But they don't do it much.
So the Road Rovers are sent on a mission to get back the decoder so the American military can use the death laser.
Yes, their secret death laser that no one knows about.
Which is
for good.
Which is good.
Yeah, for good and justice. Like they will.
And on the trip over, Exile and Blitz are looking at porn.
Yeah.
Explicitly centerfolds.
Yo, yeah, yeah. Do you see those two big ones? Wow. That's a line.
And supposedly it's redwood trees that they want to piss on. So it's also a piss joke.
Oh, he's beautiful. Oh, Babushka, get load of those two.
What are you guys looking at?
Forestry Illustrated, the giant redwood issue, yeah.
You two definitely need a hobby.
Anyways. So they go to the base to get back the decoder for their U.S. military war crimes.
This is my Sunday.
By the way, we could have watched 4 episodes. We decided to bail on 3, and I think that was the correct decision.
Well, you have a very good, strong strategy going. When it's your week to pick, you pick ways that you can be like, hey, do you want to tap out at just an hour? It gives me less to edit. And I'm like, well, it's not fair that you always edit less, but also I'm like, I don't want to watch any more of this. It's really working out great for you. It's a good strat.
So they make it to the base. Blitz turns into Wolverine and then gets caught. And the rest of the dogs, by the way, they also take Muzzle with them.
Muzzle sneaks on.
No, they explicitly have a conversation saying, hey, Muzzle hasn't been out of the base in a while. We need to bring him with.
But they deny that, and then Muzzle sneaks on.
Oh, okay. So they don't know he's there. Okay.
Raiden/Highlander man says, no, you can't let Muzzle loose. He's wild. You can't do that. And then he sneaks in.
He's a loose cannon. So the Road Rovers sneak in. The Cobra Commander, Hail Hydra,
Captain
soldiers.
Warcrime.
Yeah, there's Captain Warcrime, but the soldiers end up releasing Muzzle from the submarine. And then all the Road Rovers get caught by Captain Warcrime.
Yeah, they immediately get their asses kicked.
Now,
just instantly.
So Captain Warcrime is doing this whole operation on his own as a single mission. He has a team.
There was a really good joke, actually, just for a second, where, like, this is the fun stuff. Remember, the Blitz is like, I'm gonna get into that base. I'll get in.
Yeah.
And he goes up to, like, the front guards, immediately gets his ass kicked, and they're like, okay, I guess we'll just pull this unconscious dog into the base. And Colleen goes, mission accomplished.
He's
in. All
in.
right, well, now we'll just he's in. Now we'll just leave him and figure out what happens afterwards. He said that he's got it, and it's like, no.
See,
no, we can't do that. Hold up.
That's when the Animaniacs jokes are.
Yes.
Their writers are like, oh man, this is good.
Yeah, and that was a great one. Like, we both actually laughed at that. That was pretty good.
Well, he got in all right.
Yep, he's a dog of his word.
And our job here is done.
No, stay, Colleen, stay.
So anyway, they all get caught and they get thrown into a volcano trap because the villain's base is also on a volcano on an island, I guess. So it's up to Muzzle to save them. So Muzzle just like sneaks behind the computer after. By the way, I'm sure the health, it has to have good compensation to be working for Captain Warcrimes. Right?
It's got to be amazing. The packages are...
The vacation time, too. I mean, you got an island all to yourself. I get it. But...
Yeah, you want to ask for, like, some hammocks for everybody. He'll get you some hammocks. He's a good guy.
And free sodas in the fridge.
Yeah.
No, I get it. But so Muzzle just presses
a shuffleboard in the break room.
He just presses a button, which then turns off the trap. Because they have a emergency release button to the lava death trap.
Well, you gotta be safe.
I mean, OSHA made sure they were compliant. You have to have an emergency stop to the death machine.
Obviously.
Yeah. So, anyways, the Rovers get out. Captain Warcrime is attacking them, and they're like, oh no, we need to deal with this situation. But we need something that's unpredictable and chaotic and murderous rampage, some sort of death-dealing killer.
I hate how they treat Muzzle in this. This is such a shitty joke.
Yep. So they release Muzzle, who murders everyone.
All right, buddy. Muzzle! Muzzle, take it easy. Okay, that's enough for me.
Me also. It's much worse than Chernobyl.
Go, Muzzle, go! Make sauerbraten out of them. Ah, now that is sick.
Up until now, we'll remind you, he's snuck around the base and stuff in a straitjacket, wheelchair, Hannibal Lecter style.
Yep.
Just wheeling around, like hopping. It's weird as shit. It's such a strange joke.
Exile claims that the slaughter that occurs is worse than Chernobyl.
Yes.
And then Captain Warcrime gets away.
Blitz gets really into it for a second and then says that it goes too far even for his weird German ass eating.
Yeah, his ass eating fetish.
I would find great enjoyment biting them on the tushies.
Don't be a weird boy.
That's what it is. So anyways, Captain Warcrime gets away by turning the top of the volcano into a UFO weapon of destruction. Because, of course, it's also a weapon.
Has like a helicopter blades on it or something.
And then the Road Rovers just escape, except Muzzle was left behind to die a horrible death to lava. And then Hunter's like, no, I need to save him. I can fix him.
I love how willing everybody was like, man, he's really went in there and risked his life and saved us. Should we do the same?
Nah.
Like,
So they save him, and then Shag is seen at the end of the episode playing a video game, which is using the U.S. Navy's death laser to just shoot it at the ocean and try to hit the UFO volcano vehicle. And at the end of the episode, it's like, wow, that sure is funny how you're using that weapon from far away to terrorize people in other regions. Let's get this back to the U.S. military Navy right now.
Yuck.
What a good episode. What a good message. So then
that episode was definitely my favorite of the three. Like, it's the most wild, and it's got some really terrible implications, but at least it makes it interesting.
I mean, it starts off like Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yes.
Right? And then you switch over to Raiden, and you're like, God damn it, not again. I was promised Snake.
Episode 3 is the worst of these, I think.
And episode 3 is, so in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they would often do an episode that's just like a parody of something else. Famously, I would say they did a Alien Xenomorph episode where the aliens were pizza aliens, but they still look like the Xenomorphs.
Yeah.
This is that, but with American Werewolf in London. Essentially.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because it's in London, they have all the buses, they're like werewolves clearly.
It just comes out of nowhere.
And it is that until it isn't at the end of the episode when they just decide to change the lore for no reason.
They don't understand anything about werewolves, and nothing in this episode makes any sense. It just doesn't follow, because they're in London and there's just these werewolves terrorizing things.
Yep.
And they go there to stop them. Like, there's no villain, really. There's just, oh wait, there's these weird dog people. Let's go fight them. They fight them, they come back. This is the one where Colleen gets pinned to the ground, drooled over, and has all of her clothes slowly ripped away.
Oh, I remember that
Definitely
scene.
Not awakening anything in either of us. It's totally fine. I'm okay.
So Exile and Colleen got scratched during the fight. Also, the only reason for this fight to exist, by the way, is so in the first episode they introduced the characters and the powers. The second episode they introduced
Colleen. I
the
know.
vehicles. In the third episode, they started off by introducing all of their weapons.
Yes.
So it's like in Power Rangers when they get their suit, then they get their guns, then they get their Megazords and their robots, they get their robots first, and then they turn into the Megazords. So they're escalating slowly the toy line that they want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
was there ever a toy line for this? Because I'd love it.
There might have been. I didn't look it up. If not, there's probably fan stuff, because this has a very devout, small fan group.
Yeah, I follow a lot of them on Blue Sky.
It's true. So
I've seen the art.
Basically, they go to attack the werewolves. They come back, and they're like, "Wow, the royal family's missing," and because they also went missing during the werewolf attack, apparently, just as a side joke. Like throwaway line.
God, I actually missed that.
And then the rest of the story is basically the werewolves attacking the Road Rovers in their base, and it becomes a Among Us episode.
Oh my God, is one of us a werewolf?
Who's the werewolf and who's not? And because of all the scratching in Exile's room, it's implied that Exile, who also got scratched, is a werewolf.
I was say also the fact that he got scratched, Colleen
and not
got
Colleen,
scratched.
But Colleen also got scratched, and they're not suspicious at all. So,
and then also only one of them turns. Colleen turns.
That's confusing,
but not Exile.
That's confusing, right? Why
None
is it
of
only
it
the
makes
one?
sense.
Why? But this is also the episode with the naked, muscly, wet Blitz running around in a shower curtain.
Yes.
And also the episode where Hunter goes, "Wow, a Bandicoot? Cool. I love Crash Bandicoot." hey kids.
The tie-in.
Badger. No. Bandicoot. No.
Anyways. So every night there's a full moon, and then the werewolves change, like you do. Exile is scared that he's a werewolf, so he tries to, like, shun himself away from the other road rovers. But then they go to Confucius Dog to get the rundown on werewolves. And realize they could just tie him up during a full moon, and if he doesn't transform, then he's not a werewolf. Duh.
Yeah.
So they tie him up, he doesn't transform. Colleen does. And then Colleen takes a jet with Blitz in it to another location. And suddenly, we're also told that you can cure vampirism, werewolfism, lycanthropy, whatever.
Lycanthropy, yeah.
You can cure that with
subscribe-athropy.
Subscribe-athropy.
You can support us on Patreon.
God damn it. But you can fix it with swamp water and werewolf drool. But where will we get a bunch of slobbering werewolf drool on top of me, holding me down, pinning me to the ground, like some strong, muscly
This amazing woman that's just holding me as she rips my clothes away, drooling all over me. Yeah.
And she crushes my head like a water...
What?
Anyways, so...
But hey, if you want to send any fan art, we have roughcutscast@gmail.com. You can
do not do that.
Contact us today.
So anyways, at this point, you're like, it's just a werewolf episode, and it's just Among Us. I get it. Whatever. They're doing the thing.
But it's
they're
not
doing
even
werewolves.
good Among Us, because it's not like they're constantly like, oh my god, who is it? Like, it's not like one of them is hiding who they are.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, right away, Exile goes, oh, I think it's me. You should tie me up. And then they just have him tied up, and then that's just kind of it until Colleen turns, and then it's...
Yeah, I mean, when they did the blood test and the head ripped itself off and ran away, and, I get it.
Well, sure, that was kind of interesting.
That was pretty obvious who the werewolf was, but...
and then when they have Professor Hubert the Bloodhound pull out that flamethrower and try and get the head, he's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
They just randomly introduced the Bloodhound in this episode, and he's like, by the way, I'm the science man.
I'm just also a dog that's been turned into a human that you've never met before. Hi, hello. What?
This is the third episode. So anyways, what is weird? I mean, the whole thing's weird. but what is weird is it diverts from the werewolf story to suddenly them traveling to Stonehenge, and this is supposedly a Russian werewolf story, which makes it even weirder that they go to Stonehenge.
Yeah, because the whole time they keep on asking Exile, okay, he's like, well, I know this story. It's an ancient Siberian tale. It's about how, like, werewolves happen from these reasons and blah, blah, blah. And so he's the one that's, like, kind of giving all the werewolf lore. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's all ancient Russian stuff. And then Colleen flies the helicopter while she's a raging werewolf and fighting Blitz the whole time. And she just lands the helicopter at Stonehenge. And on top of that, when they get there, Blitz is just like leaning against the helicopter, just waiting for them. He's like, yeah, I don't know, she brought me here. And it's like, wait, weren't you guys like fighting to the
weren't you
death
getting
a minute
attacked
ago?
in the helicopter? Like, no, it's fine. You see, she was abducted by werewolves at Stonehenge, and they're going to turn her into a king and queen werewolf. And if the sun rises when you're in Stonehenge after the wedding...
Yeah, after you turn into king and queen werewolf, then they become werewolves forever, and now they no longer need the full moon, and they also become immortal and invincible.
And then they mate.
As everyone knows!
And then after they're werewolves forever, they'll mate and make baby werewolves. And you're like, okay, what?
What are they all doing here?
According to the legend of my homeland, it is time for werewolves to pick their king and queen. Once sun comes up and night turns to day, they will all be werewolves forever.
Queen Colleen? Nah, no way.
Hunter is like, no, you can't do that because Colleen's not even the same species as those werewolves.
And we went, and that was where I went.
That was a weird line.
What? What do you mean they're not the same
like
species?
Wolf and dog?
Aren't these dogs that turned into werewolves? No, they are not.
Yeah, so there's another problem with this whole king and queen marriage making babies situation.
Yeah.
So they get their tennis ball weapons that they've introduced at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
And they slobber them in fucking swamp juice and then shoot them into the mouths of the werewolf, which is where as we all know, werewolf spit comes from.
That's where werewolf drool lives, yeah. They were like, wait, how do we get werewolf drool? And I'm like, to fight werewolves with. I don't know. The werewolves?
So they just start, like, blasting tennis balls into their mouths. And Colleen turns back into an anthropomorphic dog. And then the next one turns into a human.
Yeah, they're just shooting their weapons into the mouths of other animals, just blasting them straight in the mouth with their big weapons.
It turns out every werewolf was a human, and also part of the royal family, except Colleen, which is definitely bestiality.
It's just some real... Getting some real pup star vibes from this one, boys.
And this is... So anyway, they save Princess Diana so she could die in a car crash the next episode. And that's when it ends. And then after that, you're like, I don't need to watch the fourth one.
I'm good. Then you went, do you want to watch the next one? I went, no, you've done me in. Thank you. Good job. Your strategy has worked. Well done.
So, I mean... that's Road Rovers.
That's Road Rovers.
We're not going to do a big retrospective of the whole series. That's too much.
Oh, God, no.
And also, I don't care.
No.
But we got the gist of it. From what I understand, it's G.I. Joe. They're trying to get a toy line.
Yes.
And they have all the voice actors from their WB shows on the ready.
Yeah.
So let's just do
high-end
something.
Voice talent. Like, really, really high-end voice talent.
But we're gonna set up villains. We're gonna ignore them. We're gonna set up situations, get rid of them. Why? Because none of that's important. What's important is their design, their powers, their vehicles that we can market, their guns that we need to sell as separate accessories. Like, it's very clearly a toy line show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And also it has a lot of problems with specific characters.
In, like, 3 episodes, we got, at least a dozen unique vehicles?
A lot, yeah. Definitely a bunch of vehicles. At least 4 villains.
At least 4 villains, yeah.
And you could say, like, okay, but Captain Planet has multiple villains, and they all work together, and, like, that's true. Same with Justice League.
But you think there aren't Captain Planet toy lines? Let me tell you. There's some Captain Planet toys out there.
So they're trying to do that thing. And,
yes.
I guess there's a reason this got its one season canceled twice.
Yeah.
Right? It's
not
good.
No.
But it did awaken something in an amount of people on the internet, and bless them for that, I guess. Let's rate the dogs.
Yeah, the problem for me came that they wanted to do a toy line G.I. Joe kind of show, but they also had, like, a little bit of the undercurrent of, like, Animaniacs, Warner Brothers wackiness. And those clashed so hard. Like, the Animaniacs style stuff was pretty okay. And some of the action stuff could have worked. But when you have them both together, they're both just, like, taking time away from either side of it. Like, you can't actually flesh out all the villains and things when you're just doing wacky jokes constantly.
Yeah.
And it also undermines, like, everything that they're doing. It's not that you can't have jokes in a G.I. Joe show. But how hard they went in on them just didn't mesh with the rest of stuff for me.
Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible. And then Wolverine walks away. Like, you could do jokes with a combat show, but I think the snappy pop culture-y nature of the joke of WB cartoons doesn't really fit it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the specific nature of what they're doing.
I also think there's only, like, 6 characters, but it still feels like there's too many or something. I don't know, something weird.
Yeah. I think that's again part of just that they take time away from actually doing some of the characterization, which, don't get me wrong, there's not a lot in any of those shows, but a little bit more fleshing out by just having them, like, have long sequences of wacky joke time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's rate the dogs. So
yeah, of course.
I don't know. Do you want to pick a dog to rate?
Oh boy, what favorite could I talk about? I don't want to rate any of these.
Let's start with Hunter.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just like, more that I think about it, I'm like, oh god, I don't want to talk about these dogs.
Hunter is
They're all
America
bad dogs,
dog.
boys.
He's loyal.
He's loyal. He's super loyal.
And he's super fast. His superpower is
actually-
that he's loyal to a fault.
I liked that joke. He's a pretty super dog out of 10. They're like, why would you go in and rescue Muzzle? And he's like, well, I'm a super dog, and so I'm super loyal.
He's also
super
American,
everything.
so I'm gonna have to give him a 0 out of 10. Colleen.
Fair.
Colleen is the British collie dog. An Electric Blanca.
As a Canadian, I have to God save the Queen out of 10 for her.
I'm gonna give her. I'm Electric Blanca. I'm Chun-Li Hadouken out of 10.
Honestly, she's the I awoken something in a lot of
That's
people
the character that
dog out
probably
of
did
10.
the most. Yeah.
She's this big, leggy dog that holds down the stronger dog and drools all over him.
And she's also like constantly flirting and teasing the German dog.
Yeah,
in weird ways. Exile, I have every superpower as long as it involves my eyeballs dog. I would give that dog a Mary Sue out of 10. Blitz, the racial problem dog. That is a Nazi. That is a 0 out of 10 dog, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. It's too bad because, we need more people that eat good ass.
But not that one. Shag, the brave dog, the shaggy dog. I would just give that a Scooby-Doo out of 10, I guess. It's just a dog from a different show.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that didn't work for this. Because it's just such a pure comic relief character that it's just like...
Yeah.
They didn't even know what to do with him. He's in almost no scenes.
And then Muzzle. I would give Muzzle a Hannibal Lecter in a glass room covered in anime posters out of 10. There's just a big Neon Genesis Evangelion poster on the wall. He's like, "Oh, nice to see you again."
Muzzle, will you have to pilot your straitjacket again?
Ooh, this is just like my favorite episode of Trigun. Ooh.
Get back in the straitjacket, Muzzle.
Yep. No, I think that's the episode. I think that's it. Anyways, that was Rough Cuts. You can follow us on Blue Sky. Rough Cuts there. You can of course support us on Patreon, which we appreciate and helps us fund. I actually just bought some new 35mm Blu-rays, like transpose from the film of a couple movies that we will eventually watch. So that is where your funds
buys
go.
A lot of movies and stuff for us for sure.
I do a lot of research. You do some research as well.
I do some. Hey, sometimes I do. I occasionally.
And you can of course also email us at roughcutscast@gmail.com and send us your cool fan art, which is not Road Rovers related. Please do not.
I check the email. You can send Road Rovers related stuff.
God damn it. I guess that's it. Yeah.
I honestly think we just end it there.
There's your comedy.
There's your comedy.
There's your comedy.
His eyes just do things.
I see.
Yeah, they're icy for one.
Fuck you.
Got him.